So hi, thank you so much for being with me, Phumzile. I hear that you are a stockbroker or by training, but then you are this big founder. You invested in many companies, and specifically in South Africa, and then now you're evolving into different other countries, or have evolved into different other countries. But I'm actually just going to ask you to tell me more about your work.
Sure. Well, thank you very much for inviting me and for the opportunity. I'm a stockbroker by training, as you correctly say. I did a stint as a VP of Investor Relations for a junior mining company, and that's where I really got my first taste of international exposure, speaking to investors, actually selling the mining story, but importantly, selling the African and the South African story as an investment destination.
Oh, nice.
I've had the benefit of being a co-founder of a business, Afropulse Group. We've had our business for the last 18 years, and we invest in a number of sectors: logistics, in property and financial services. I am very passionate about education, so I serve on the council of the University of Pretoria. I am a board member of Durban Girls College, my old school, and I always believe that you really need to give back, and education for me is the one place where I like to contribute my time. And fortuitously, I've had the benefit of extensive governance experience. I've served on listed and unlisted companies for the last 20 years.
Nice. Wow.
Currently, I'm a deputy chairman of Imperial Logistics. I'm a non-executive director of DP World. I'm chairman of a few companies. But essentially...
How do you have so much time for all these hats?
That's a question I actually ask myself all the time.
That's amazing.
But I think when you love to learn and you love to grow, time just, it's about allocation. And I always believe that in life, if you prioritize the things that you like, you will find time to do them.
I love that. You said education many times during our conversation already. Why is education to you so important, and why is that the focus of your service?
So, for me, education is transformational. You know, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter who you are. With education, you can go that much further. Without education, your world is that much smaller. You know, I have a personal experience about how transformative good education is. I have seen how it has shaped my thinking, how it's become an integral part of my success. And also I have seen what it can contribute to a society and to people. And probably the biggest factor for me was my parents believed in education. So for us, education was something that just had to happen. But along the way, you fall in love with it. But one of the other things I've learned about education is how it contributes to your overall development and growth. So very late in my life, I decided to pursue another postgraduate degree. And this was not because it was going to help me make more money, or, but it added an element of scholastic knowledge.
What was your degree in, your postgrad?
Oh, it was my my master's in commerce. So I did a piece on governance, but it was just, you know, using education to fortify and to add what I was already doing, and to bring a different perspective and a different meaning to why I was doing what I was doing, particularly serving on boards.
I love that. I love, actually, obviously I'm African as well by heritage, and I love how you said first it started off with something that you had to do, because your parents, you know, we have African parents who believe so much in education, and then it was like, actually, this is a good idea to make a huge impact, and you went and pursued another degree, which is an amazing, almost like full circle, and now you're giving back in that way. So that leads me to my next question. When people are kind of uninformed about Africa, but they want to so much invest and help, what advice would you give them? Would it be, what industry? Would it be education, or would it be a different advice?
I would say, firstly, you know, the point has been made so many times. Africa is a continent with 54 countries. So I would say to people, choose where you want to invest, but you must make an informed choice. Probably the best way of determining where to invest is to actually visit a particular country, meet the people, get to understand some of the local nuances, get a sense of what you are passionate about, what you want to impact, what your legacy should be. But more than that, be open-minded. You know, you go into any continent, and I've had the blessing of visiting many, and there the first thing you do is, I want to learn about the people and the culture. I want to accept that there are many things I don't know. And if you're investing in particular, it's always good to have a local partner, someone who'll give you a sense of the lay of the land. They are better at understanding local nuances. But also, if you get a good partner, and I've seen this as part of business as well, you will build something far more sustainable that is also very impactful.
Okay.
So I would certainly say, do your homework, definitely. Have a sense of what you want to invest in. Being clear is always very helpful. In South Africa, for example, there's a myriad of industries you can choose from.
Yes.
We are blessed by being a very diverse economy, one of the largest in our continent. You can invest in startups, in fintech, you can invest in banking, you can invest in social impact projects, you can invest in education, which is a very big need in our country. And importantly, you can also invest in healthcare. So if you're a social impact or an impact investor, there is a myriad of opportunities, but importantly as well, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yes.
What we have in South Africa are very sophisticated investment partners.
And even
that you can work with.
partnerships.
Yes, and investors. So it just makes it that much easier. So bias aside, I will have to trumpet South Africa as an investment destination.
You started as a stockbroker, and then you built your own companies, you've invested in companies, you've led, you've been on boards of many companies. What do you want your legacy to be in terms of Africa and making what type of impact in Africa?
I want my legacy to be someone who had the opportunity to do good and someone in his small way who tried to do just that.
Would you agree that that's partnerships and building more network is what makes certain events like Unstoppable Africa important?
One of the first things I learned in business was in the absence of networks, partnerships, and people, you are nowhere. So the real reason for coming to events of this nature is to listen to people share their experiences, to learn from those who have traveled before you, and even those who are traveling alongside you. But importantly, to build that very important thing, human networks and connections.
Yeah. Thank you so much for
Thank
talking
you.
with me.